So I'm Dillon, and currently I work as the Children's Reform and Change Coordinator within the Northern Health and Social Care Trust. In 2020 I helped to set up a brand new service within the Trust, which was essentially supporting young people who were on the edge of entering secure accommodation and who almost were currently admitted into regional secure facilities. So the idea of the team that I was supporting to set up was really to try and give young people a consistent relationship with a key figure, despite them maybe moving to a range of different places, and to prevent their admission into secure facilities. That was a really interesting role and quite a challenging role to set up, and it was great to be part of a new team. But then in December of 2021, I then accepted this position that I'm in now. So it's called the Children's Reform and Change Coordinator, and essentially the post it's more of a strategic social work role, and it looks at trying to develop and improve children's social work services. To be a social worker anyway, you have to be the kind of person that enjoys the social work role and working with people and relationships, and I'm kind of the sort of person that I'll do something because I enjoy it and because I feel like it works for me, and that's kind of how my career has developed. I think I fell into management because you always look at services and look at things and you always have ideas about, well, how can it be better or what can we do differently? And I think I kind of had to put my money where my mouth was to sort of say, well, I can't have all these ideas and suggestions without wanting to at least try and look and support those changes in a leadership role. So I think I took a bit of a courageous step to see, was that something that firstly I was able to do and that could help to make changes, and I kind of enjoyed it, because when you're frontline management in social work, you're not detached from working with service users and carers, and you can kind of work with a whole group of people. For me, my expectations of my career were quite straightforward. I always knew that I wanted to work with young people, and probably knew that I wanted to work with teenagers. But actually, now that I'm speaking out loud, as a student, when I was qualifying, I had a real interest in probation and criminal justice social work, and I wanted to kind of work alongside, maybe people who have been involved in the criminal justice system for one reason or another, and look at rehabilitation and stuff like that. You can do anything from frontline practice within children's services, adult services in mental health, in hospital social work, in older people's services, right through to training and teaching. And then there's the management and senior management opportunities, which then take you into more strategic aspects of social work practice. So the opportunities are endless. When you work with service users and families, I mean, I've worked with a number of families, and maybe they've just said, Johnny, the way that you've spoken to us made us feel like you were speaking to people, and that you weren't sitting and you weren't trying to judge us, or you didn't have your mind made up before you started working with us. And I mean, I've had a number of conversations like that with families and young people, and I think that makes a massive difference, because it's sort of, for me, it rings true to what I want to be doing as a social worker. More than that, I'm doing a bit of tutoring with social work students, and I'm a practice teacher for social work students, and making a difference in that role is quite important to me as well, because you're trying to influence the next generation of social workers. I think social work, it's really important that the social work profession is diverse, so that it represents the people and the communities that you work with. And I think we have an ever-changing kind of society, and we're working with a whole range of different groups and populations. And social work's about relationships, and it's about representation, and it's about being anti-oppressive. So it's really important that social workers can align themselves to the service users and the carers and the communities that they're working with and within. I think we shouldn't be complacent in our representation, and we know that our communities are changing and that our society is changing, and social work needs to keep up with that to ensure that it is as representative as it can be for those that the profession works with and supports. So there's a coaching concept that we use within the Trust, and I've done the coaching training, but also being coached, which is a really great way of trying to help you think about what you really want to be doing within your professional career. But within social work, again, for me, my professional development has really, again, probably shaped the areas that I've went to. So as I mentioned before, I've done my postgraduate training in systemic practice and family therapy. That was in a natural then progression into my senior practitioner role, working with families on the edge of maybe children coming into care. You can easily do a professional development course that ticks a box. That probably won't help in terms of your, bridging the gaps within knowledge base. So I would advise anybody, and for me it was looking at where does my interest lie in terms of additional wanting to develop and acquire different knowledge and skills, and equally where's the gaps. And I have had really good kind of support from managers that I've worked with and that have supervised me, that have helped me identify those gaps and really look at the best opportunities to try and develop my knowledge around those areas that I wasn't as familiar or as comfortable with.